out, how way, ay, 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 ay. How we out, ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. How way, ay, 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 ay. How way, ay, 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 ay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Bridge. I'm your host, Kira Young, and you've reached me on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. As usual, we are simulcasting with Real Liberty Media, and tonight we're triple casting with People's Internet Radio. Hello, world. Hello, country. Hello, people who want things to be better than they are right now. We have a really good show for you. There's a lot of young people that are going to be joining, and they're part of the International Indigenous Youth Council. As you may know, we've had a couple of, actually 3 people from the International Indigenous Youth Council come on the show so far, so you know that they are committed to stopping these pipelines, to stopping fossil fuel, and pushing for renewable sources of energy and a better way of life for everybody, not just for Indigenous people, but for everyone. So let's see, we're going to have 3 groups joining us. I think, Steve, we're going to start with Tashina and Topa.
Hello?
Hi, it's Kira. You're on the air. You ready?
Oh, Kira. Kira. How's it going, cousin?
So, yeah, we, at first we dialed wrong. Then we tried, the group in Denver, and something happened with that phone, but nobody came on, and now we got you. So this is good.
All right.
So we wanted to first start with, really trying to clear up the situation that happened with, actually Tashina and her, Homeland Security warning that she got, I think this morning on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk to her?
Yeah, let's start with her, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Hi, Tashina. You there?
Hey, what's up?
Welcome back to The Bridge. We haven't been able to get everybody on yet, so we're going to start with you until we can try to get them going.
Yeah, that's fine.
I really was concerned about that Homeland Security message that you got when you were trying to share the.
Yeah, that happened last night, and we were sitting around, and then I was posting a picture. Or that happened like in the evening last night, but I ended up just taking it down anyway. It was a picture of Dopa and I being part of the Heyoka camp. An agitator camp. And I basically was just hashtagging Dope 2017, Decolonization of People Everywhere, and then an error came up when I pressed post, and it was that one that I had posted on my Facebook last night, which is basically said that due to some of the content on my post or something, it's now being reviewed by the FBI. But when I looked into it, I actually looked into it about all this morning, and it might have just been like a virus on the web browser that I was using for my phone, but I'm not sure. But regardless, I do need to take more precautions.
Yeah.
Because it did throw me off. You know, you don't see that every day at all.
Yeah.
It was just.
Well,
I don't know how to feel about it, but it actually gives me a little more. Rather than dishearten me or scare me, it actually makes me want to even go more onto what we're trying to accomplish here. Freedom of speech shouldn't be, regulated like that through the government. It shouldn't be, we should be able to express anything that we say or how we feel or what we think without having to feel like we're going to go to jail for it. Mm-hmm. Because what opinions, I don't know. It's baffling to me because, just by using words that come out of your mouth, you can
Yeah.
It looks like you can get killed for it, you know? Like,
it's pretty
so
scary.
It's coming off like that. Who knows what the government has under their sleeve?
Well, when I looked at it, it was a Department of Homeland Security warning saying that that whatever, it's probably an algorithm of some sort, and that had identified it as terrorists. But there's got to be something wrong with that algorithm because there's no violence involved. Everybody knows that dope is like slang for cool and like awesome or whatever. And for you guys, it's decolonization of people everywhere. And it's your latest campaign with the International Indigenous Youth Council. You're an established group of people that have never advocated for violence at any time, ever. So, to link you guys with terrorism, it's not acceptable. And it should be totally challenged. And that's why I had suggested to contact the, ACLU, because that needs to be challenged. Like, we can't let that go and just be like, they're after us because,
It's a good thing I posted it. It got me connected with a lot of people who know what to do in that area. Because me, this is all new for us. With this whole movement, and you hear it from more people than none, but how this is all a new experience. And some of the things that I underestimated for myself, or not underestimated, but I guess I was naive of, was how serious this is going to get, how serious the government really just wants us to shut up. I didn't think, I'm a mother, and so I went from a life of being blinded throughout my whole life by the system, but I was fortunate enough to have the family and the support that I do now to keep me awake, keep me grounded on who we are as human beings. So that kind of contributed to, voicing my opinion, but I guess I just never understood the length to which the government will go to make us be quiet about how we feel or view topics. They just really want us to go away. And with DOPE 2017, with the Youth Council, what we're trying to do is we're going to show them that we're not going away. Decolonize 2017 is showing that it's more than just Occupy. It's not Occupy 2017. We're not going to occupy places. We're going to decolonize places. We're going to start for a better future. We're starting this whole movement, and what better way to do it than to try to educate the young minds. When we thought of DOPE, it was from our one of our sisters. Her name's Lauren Two Braids Howland. She's actually she's on the show, I believe, today. But
Yep.
And it was funny how it all started. We were in a chat, and we were thinking about messaging how for our march at J20, and we were thinking about getting a banner done, and so we threw some cool things out there like decolonization in 2017 or decolonize. Well, what if we put a CO2 in it, like how the end colonialism was, all these different things, because they wanted us to be careful about our messaging. But Lauren was like, dope. And we're like, we all kind of looked at it at first, like, oh, this is going to be touchy. I don't know if we should touch this, but decolonization of people everywhere will appeal to the younger generation, our generation. Because we know, being how young we are, that people, when they think something's cool or rad, they say, oh, that's dope, or even some of the people who smoke green, marijuana, or who are recreational users or medical users for that, they referred that as dope. And, when it comes to it being actually looked at as drug messaging, it's not. It's more, we're trying to decolonize that too, because we feel that also that the drugs have hit our homes pretty hard. I mean, back here on the reservation, dope, the literal meaning, it's looked down upon. You know, it's like whenever somebody mentions it, it's like, you know, it's not necessarily a good thing. Whereas other places, people are like, oh yeah, that's dope. Well, why not bring it back and make it something that
change
kids
the meaning
can relate to,
mm-hmm.
and you know, make it bigger and get people away from that, so that we can also help those who are drug users too get hip to a new way of dope, rather than the dope kind of living that they're being, you know, brainwashed into. I mean, I feel like a lot of the drugs and alcohol that are inflicted on our people is because of the oppression, and it's because of being colonized. So I thought it was brilliant when Lauren came up with dope. I mean, it's a good way just to catch the eye. It's catchy.
All right. Okay, so I'm getting word now that the Denver crew is available, so we're going to bring them in, too.
Cool. Oh, my God, I love them so much. They're my, we're all like a family. That's the cool thing about the Youth Council.
Yep.
Is that we all came together at the camp, and now we're like a huge family.
A great family. Welcome to the bridge. Yay, the Denver crew is here. So,
yay, Tomas, I love you. It's Sheena.
Yeah.
So we,
and Topa.
You heard a little bit, about, we were just sort of going back and forth about, Tashina's, Homeland Security warning today, identifying you guys as, a terrorist threat. And we were explaining how, indeed, there's no linkage to violence whatsoever with your group. So, we're also going to try to get, Carlos and the people who wanted to join from Standing Rock in here too. And then we're going to go around and everybody's going to get a chance to say where they're at and what they're doing now, and who they are. So yay. So try to get, Carlos on too, please, Steve. We'll leave it to Carlos to try to get in touch with me if he can. So how about we, wrap up, you guys in Swiftbird, and any other thing that you want to say about, why you joined this movement, like your motivations for it, and where you're at now with it, and then hand it to Topa and he can say where he's at with it. And then we'll go over to Denver.
Okay, yeah, I'll let Topa go first, and then
okay.
He'll pass it on to me.
All right.
You guys cooking anyways. I'm hungry.
Okay.
Hey, cousins. I know
Hey.
this is a show, but let's have fun with it.
Hey. So, we're gonna go around, you first, then Tashina, and then we're gonna go over to Denver, and each of you are going to basically say who you are, why you joined the movement, and then where you're at now in the movement and what you're doing and working on now. So.
Okay, so there's 4 people here right now.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we have 2 hours.
5 people.
Yeah, well, not
okay,
quite.
okay.
Yeah, an hour and a half, but we're going to take a little break. It'll be 4 o'clock, at the top of the hour. We'll take like a 3-minute break, and then we'll have a whole nother hour left. But we still have like 40 minutes left. So I think we can
rest when we're dead. Yeah.
So, okay, so go ahead, Topa, and, so take like 10 minutes each. Yeah.
Take a whole hour. No.
I got a lot to say. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So, my name is Alex Goodcane Milk, but I acquired the name Dopa in camp. Reasons mainly is because there's a lot of fucking Alexes. Oh, sorry for cussing.
Yeah, none of that. We can't be dropping.
I came here with 2 messages. At camp, I gave up everything. I'm just a normal guy. Just Yanktsui Honktawan, Lower Yanktane, represent Milk's camp. And, just a normal guy, working 2 jobs. Arby's and working at a diner. And one day my brother, he saw me walking home from work, and he's like, hey, you need a ride? He gave me a ride. Told me all about DAPL. I was just taken by it, and just like a day later, I left. Everything. I didn't know what to expect. I got to camp. I was like, had that rush. All right, I'm at camp. Now what? And I talked to my uncle. I'm telling him, like, what's my direction. He said, just naturally just go out there and explore. And so I did, and I started acquiring these ideas. And one thing I have about ideas and thoughts is that they're messages from creators, and that they're prayers. I believe that's how prayers are answered, because the Creator gives them to people in their minds and uses their voice so they think it's their own, and that prayer gets answered, gets achieved. So I was thinking of my messages of unity and knowledge, and I can see that my messages are coming to be answered, but need still some work, of unity. I can see that we all came together and we united the whole world, but we united them. We didn't connect them. We made them aware of each other, and if we connect each other, that'd be that much more powerful. And I'm thinking, like, in our own communities. I know we want to reach all over the world, but a good way to start is we start in our community. Talk to the community. Talk to the youth. Talk to everybody about what's going on. Let them know if they, it's not their fault that they don't know, and let them know what's going on in the world. And another message is of knowledge. I can see that, we can have all this heart and all this action, but if we don't give the knowledge that is needed to the youth, then how are they going to be able to protect themselves from future threats? So we got to gain all this knowledge. So one thing that I'm trying to do is gain knowledge of survival, trades, book smarts, street smarts, anything that we can teach the youth so they can have a better chance at life. And right now I'm working on a couple things of doing some nonviolent direct action training, and hopefully become a trainee so I can just train people and be that much more stronger, powerful, teach people what they don't know. And, trying to go on to these unity conferences to talk with all the other people, bringing that unity and that connection so we can, because we know there's a lot of people out there in the world that, think the same way we do. We just got to go fight them. And the way we do that is just to keep doing what we're doing, because they're obviously doing the same thing.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and right now we're talking to the whole world. We're simulcasting on 3 stations. And the world does care quite a bit about not only Standing Rock, but what was started there. And I've been talking to people all over the world who are mobilizing to stop the ecological genocide that's going on in their communities. So it's unstoppable, what you've already begun. So don't let the co-optation that happens in everything that we ever do that's good, it will always happen, get you down. Just keep moving. Like water, just keep moving and stay fresh. Don't worry about it. Just move on to the next project, because you're doing good work. You're doing good work. And
then another thing that maybe, since I didn't know I was talking to the world, hello world. One thing I think that, you're thinking in this moment, I'm listening to this radio station, what can I do in this moment? Well, in this moment, what you could do is educate yourself on all your rights and all the laws that are in your country, wherever you're from, your home. So if you do try to fight the system, you know what you're doing. Because, you can't go all heart, no brains. You have to have both. That's why we have both. You gotta use what you have.
Yep. I agree.
That's one thing. And one way to get connected with your community is to talk to your neighbor. If you don't know your neighbor, get to know them. Just say, hey, hi, I'm so-and-so. Good to meet you. I live next door. You want to have dinner. You want to hang out. This and that. That's one way you can build that connection. And build that knowledge is, those things. So maybe that's an idea. Just a small step to take it closer to what you're trying to achieve.
And it's funny because one of my last guests actually said the same thing, that starting a camp to stop fracking in his country, in the UK, he got to meet his neighbors that he'd never spoke to before, because they came down to the camp to support what they were doing to keep their country from getting fracked. So, and I pointed out that living that way, like you do in camp, talking around a fire, praying around a fire, eating around a fire, together. Everything that you did was together, and you talked about it, and you prayed about it. That's how we lived for thousands of years before we got all mixed up in the way we do things now. So keep that alive in whatever way that you can. Keep doing that, because that's really the key to keeping you centered, because there'll be a lot of forces to try to knock you off center because you're on the right track. So keep it up, and we're gonna move to back to Tashina now, and then we're gonna go to Denver. So any last thing you want to say before we move to Tashina?
Yes.
Okay.
Let everybody out there know that sometimes your plans aren't going to work and things are going to go bad. But that's all it is in that moment that it is. And there's always a new moment to get better. It's going to get hard. What we're starting here has never happened, so we don't know what's going to happen. But just stay strong and just know, rather be doing this than what you were doing before. No. All right, well, you guys all take care, and hopefully, I helped you out, open your mind a little bit. All right, well, Doksha Ake.
Doksha.
Hey guys, it's me. I know. I feel like I'm just like a phone hog, so I'll be quick with what we're doing on this end. Dopa touched lightly on it, but right now, coming into the movement, it's easy to say that we fight for water. It's easy to say that we're protecting our mother. What brought us here? But what actually did bring people? What actually brought me? What actually brought Dopa? What actually brought the youth council? And I kind of went into thinking about it, and it's more than just protecting the water. It's more than just protecting the earth. It's more than just protecting the environment. It's standing up and actually being a human being. It's instead of a mindless robot warped in this system, And so, also what brought us is love, and that's the biggest thing. It's love, that human connection. People are so brainwashed nowadays, so colonized nowadays, that they lose that connection with that they can establish with other human beings. They are able to see each other's points of views or are ignorant to it because that's how the system wants us. They don't want us working together. They don't want us talking to each other, connecting with each other, hearing each other's stories, because when that happens, movements like what we started happen. And so I think when people ask me what brought me, I say love. And I say love for everybody, because it's more than just protecting our basic human rights. It's more than all of that. It's more of a spiritual thing too, bringing us connected spiritually. And it sounds corny. It sounds really cheesy, but it's the truth. When at Standing Rock, right now it's a current establishment that is showing how the world should be, not just should be, but could be, if we all just learn to work together and get our addiction away from fossil fuels and money. It's a way of living that we can incorporate, and it's still thriving. Standing Rock is still thriving. There are some hardcores there. I mean, I'm back home right now, but there are some hardcores there that aren't going to leave. This is the way we want to live. We want our children to see how it's living. And and it's perfect that it's in North Dakota during the winter time, because those hardcores are also showing that if we can stick it out through this winter, you can stick it out everywhere else. You know, like in the winters in Arizona or in Florida or in Texas, or, like basically setting up these camps and living sustainably away from fossil fuels, away from corporate greed, away from unrenewable energy. We are showing the planet that we are just trying to heal America. We are trying to heal America because America is so sick right now. It's a disease. It's a sickness in their mind. It's because they're so, just like every addiction, it's a sickness. And being addicted to fossil fuels and money, power, and greed, having those addictions is what's keeping our people sick. Just like what's going on with the reservation. We are so sick because of the historic trauma that has happened in over the last few generations. How everything has just been ripped from us, and it's made us sick. What we're trying to do now is heal. We are going to heal this sickness, and Standing Rock is the first medication to a long period of doses that we're going to be giving to the American public. We have the next dose, which we already showed, is Dope 2017. So right now, for the Youth Council, well, for majority of us, we are just hanging back and skilling ourselves and training ourselves to become better than what we already are. Educating ourselves through reading books, learning our history, we have a bunch of downtime. Humans have downtime when they're not in a system. So, just learning to educate ourselves and then attending conferences and, like in D.C., we attended the Young Greens Youth Caucus conference that they helped orchestrate at the Martin Luther King Jr. Library downtown, and that was a good way of correlating and meeting new people. So that's what we're doing. We're just getting organized. Right now is the organization period. We already have the numbers. We know we have the numbers. Now it's time to put it all down together and start working with each other to accomplish greater things than Standing Rock. I mean, Standing Rock should be happening everywhere. Mm-hmm. Camps should be popping all over the place, and that's what our goals are. Those are far-fetched goals, but to start a movement, we've been reading this book called Blueprint for Revolution by Sergej Popovic, and he was one of the revolutionaries for the Otpor revolution in Serbia, and Otpor meaning resistance in Serbian, and he expresses so many great tactics and nonviolent direct action to overthrow your own dictatorship. And Trump is like a dictator. So I don't even know what to call him. I don't even think he can even, he's not even worthy of dictator, So, but just like every bad guy, there's always going to be a worse guy, and that's Pence. I think when it came to the election that they knew Trump was going to get impeached, so they put Pence there so he could be the next president. We were talking in weeks, too, about this. And,
yeah.
And,
so you're staying mobilized. You're staying mobilized. You're educating yourselves more. The next phase is Standing Rock is everywhere. It's all Indian land. It's all Indigenous land. We will work to defend it all together, organized. This is good. This is great.
Yeah, because we all are Indigenous. White, brown, yellow, black, or gray, we're all Indigenous to this planet.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I have to say two things, before we go over to Denver. One is that when you're talking about love, that being the motivation, that's totally apparent after 5 minutes of hanging out with you guys that it's about love. I mean, it's very obvious and it's not cheesy. I mean, that's why a lot of us are there. Actually, I have three things to say. The other thing is that, and you're talking about addiction. Addiction is our human response to trauma. And so it's not a moral failing. That's something that I really want everybody to absorb. So I keep saying this again. It's not a moral failing. It is our response to trauma. So if you want to heal your addictions, you got to work on your trauma. So that's, and how do we do that? Well, different things work for different people. So I just want to get at that out there.
Standing Rock was just, is just one of the many that are yet to come.
Right.
You know, one of the many ways to heal that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have people from all over the place that went to Standing Rock that were completely lost, and now they're whole again.
Right.
Because of the connections that they established there.
Right.
So we got a long road, but, you know, hopefully we can overtake this sickness just like any other addiction.
Together, yes. And by not shaming each other when we act like humans and have addictions because we're traumatized, you know. That's really important. And the other thing is that we're really, you know, honestly, we're not really saving the earth because the earth is a sacred being and she will continue without us. We're saving ourselves. Let's be honest here.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that being said, let's move over to Denver and, are we going to start with Tomas in Denver?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for having us.
You bet.
My name is Tomas Lopez, Jr. My mother is Sharon Dominguez Lopez. My father is Thomas Lopez, Sundance Chief Thomas Lopez Sr. I'm a part of the International Indigenous Youth Council, and I'm helping found the Denver chapter of the International Indigenous Youth Council. After this past week, after the Army Corps of Engineers notified Congress that they were going to they granted the easement to start construction on the Dakota Access Pipeline, all of us were definitely hurt. It was something that we had all fought very hard to try to prevent, and we, unfortunately, after everything that we fought for, it still happened. And so, you know, on a physical level, you were seeing the drill piercing the earth, and on a metaphoric level, it was like that same drill was piercing all of our hearts and our souls. It was really painful. And since, you know, in past weeks, we've actually, you know, they've pretty much slowly begun to criminalize water protectors. To me, I see a direct correlation to the way that they criminalized and blacklisted communists in the 30s and 40s, and it scares me that that's kind of something that we may face now, when in all reality, water protectors are some of the most beautiful people you'll ever meet. And you know, to see that the U.S. government and the FBI is starting to investigate the National Indigenous Youth Council, well, in a way, it's kind of a good thing, because you know what? If that's what we have to do to get your attention, then that's what we have to do to get your attention. You know, we're rooted in peace, and you will see that upon investigating any of us, that we have nothing to hide. We're not, you know, we're not here to establish dominance as one group of people. We're not here to put anyone above other people. We're here to provide a voice for the youth, which is a voice that goes largely unheard in most of Western culture and in Western society. And so the International Indigenous Youth Council, I mean, everyone will tell you, it does empower you to become leaders of your own community. And, you know, all of us right now, I know that we're going through a lot because of what's happening, but we just want everyone to know that we will continue to fight the fossil fuel industry and this pipeline now harder than we have before, and in more creative ways, and continuing to keep, you know, putting everyone's different ideas together and ensuring that everyone's voice goes heard. So how did I find out about Standing Rock? Through family. Honestly, a lot of us our parents were Aimsters, and my parents were also part of the Chicano movement. And so from my family, I just kind of heard about what was going on up at the camp. So I went up there, and I really just thought I was going to be, you know, going up there and getting to know some people and camping, and I didn't really expect it to be such a beautiful spiritual journey. I didn't expect it to be the beginning of my decolonization, my decolonization process. And you can ask anybody that went there. The person that you went is not the person that you came back. And it influenced you in so many positive and beautiful ways. And, you know, yeah, we didn't do everything perfect. There are definitely things that we can do better, but now we know, just like Topa and Tashina said, you know, it was a learning experience for every single one of us. And regardless of this different media that you're going to see saying that we did otherwise, it was a very, very beautiful, very smart, very intricate system that we had going on there that worked for everybody. And it included everybody's ideas. It included everybody's thoughts. It included everybody's prayers. And, you know, even though it led by the indigenous people of this hemisphere and of this continent, of Turtle Island, doesn't mean that it was specific to only indigenous people. You know, we met people from Thailand. We met people from the Middle East. We met people from countries from all around the world. And it exposed us, you know, as indigenous youth to people that we would have never otherwise been exposed to. But it also exposed the world to us. For the first time in Lord knows how long, we weren't, you know, fairy tales anymore. We weren't Pocahontas and Tonto, and, you know, we were humanized to the world. And so, yeah, with that, we actually ended up starting our DOPE campaign, which is the Decolonization of People Everywhere. And it's really just a continuation of what we learned and what we did in Standing Rock. And we felt like it was such a beautiful experience that we wanted to share that with the world. And, you know, colonization is something that indigenous scholars in Canada and in America have been talking about for years. It's now barely coming into the Western public eye, but colonization is something that we've been talking about as indigenous scholars for decades and for centuries, but it's not something that's been talked about enough. And so what the International Indigenous Youth Council is doing is bringing that term to light, bringing it forth, and through that, it will actually explain a lot about how to move forward with the way that we deal with indigenous peoples here in America. People believe that every indigenous community is the same. So you can just deal with all of them is in the same way. And we as the Youth Council, we know that's not true. Every chapter in the Youth Council is going to work and operate a little bit differently, and they're going to serve the needs of their community that are specific to what they're doing there. The Denver chapter isn't going to deal with the same things that a chapter in Rosebud, South Dakota would deal with. Just like we wouldn't work the same as the chapter in New York would operate. You know, we're all working similarly, and we're trying to come up with the best system that we can where we can all have similar systems, but I mean, not everything's the same.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people will even think that people within the same tribe do everything the same. And there's also different groups within the same tribe that do things a little bit differently. People don't realize that indigenous people are some of the most diverse groups of people you'll ever meet. But there is a common thread of, you can put your finger on it, but not really. There is a common thread, but it's more, that we're resisting colonization together. And
that will, I don't know if anybody that's listening, they may know Aaron Wise, who's a part of the International Indigenous Youth Council as well. We recently were invited by an Indigenous scholar, Don Hill, to Canada to speak at the McMaster's Indigenous Health Conference, and even there, we bring that term colonization to a group of future scholars, to a group of future doctors and psychologists, and people who are interested in the medical field. And you start to tell them, when you deal, not if you deal, when you deal with indigenous youth and indigenous people, what you need to understand is you're dealing with this different set of issues that are more rooted to our past than you believe. And in order to truly work with the indigenous communities and our people, you need to know who we are. You need to know where we're coming from. And so even, that this term colonization coming into and being studied more by scholars is going to eventually result in the change in ways that people choose to deal with indigenous communities, and that's indigenous communities around the world.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I'm so happy to see, when people say, oh, Standing Rock is a seminal moment in American history, dang right it is. Lots of stuff is growing out of it. And I thought about what you said about how you don't come back the same person. And definitely my focus is not the same. I am forever changed, from being able to see that. So, and,
we're just, I mean, even though physically we've all left Standing Rock, we're all still in Standing Rock. It came back with us. And we are continuing, this week was really, really difficult, but our fire is burning brighter than and stronger than ever before. And we have to keep this momentum, keep telling people about it, keep explaining to people that it's not just an Indigenous issue anymore. Keep explaining to people that, this isn't for you. This is for your children. This is for your grandchildren.
Right.
Some people say I'm extreme when I tell them, or you can start practicing your explanation and your speech as to why your children or grandchildren are dying of cancer and why you allowed that to happen. Practice that. Write it up now. Because that's what's going to end up happening. Once you pollute the air, once you pollute the water, you kill your children. You are serving them the very cancers that they are going to ingest and die from. And that seems so extreme. I know. It's like, oh my God, why would you say that? I'm just saying that because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. And that this is coming from a youth. This is coming from somebody that never planned on having kids. And now I'm here fighting for kids that I will probably never have. Because I believe in the future of humanity. I believe in it. I see my nieces and nephews, and I see that beauty, that purity, that innocence. You see that, and you want them to have that for as long as they can. Mm-hmm. You want them to grow up in whatever way that they want to be, and whoever they choose to be. You want them to be proud of that, and you want them to come from something that they're proud of. You want them to wake up one day and say, you know what? I came from a group of people that cared about me so much that they changed their entire lives just so that we could still exist.
Powerful.
And it's possible. It's possible. Is it going to be easy? No, it is not easy to break an addiction. It is very difficult to break an addiction, but it's possible. And this is coming from poor people that have been completely just pushed to the side forever. Like, we're not gaining anything from this. We're not going to become more rich by saying stop using oil. Mm-hmm. We're saying this because we need to start realizing that it's not about the money. It's not about how much money you're going to make off the land, or it's not about who owns the land. Because really, at the end of the day, nobody owns this land. That land owns us. We're here as long as it allows us to be here.
Right.
And we can change that. So that's the International Indigenous Youth Council. We're working towards that, and it's actually really crazy because we're talking about mission statements and stuff. And on the Army Corps of Engineers website, they actually say that their primary goal to our tribal nations are to always consult the tribes and the ways that they may be affected by projects and policies, and also to reach out to partners with the tribe on water resources and projects. So I just want to throw that out there, that basically the Army Corps of Engineers is completely breaking their own mission statement. They violated their own mission statement, which from the U.S. government, I mean, as many of us know,
right,
we violate our mission statement quite often. I have one of like these American coins, and on it says, "We are a country of immigrants."
Yep.
Ain't that some ironic stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that some irony?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's it's going to be nonstop work holding this system accountable for what it says it stands for. So we have to remind the American public, this is what they say they're about. This is what's actually happening. We have to put that juxtaposition of reality versus what's on paper. And that's the same with sovereignty, Indian sovereignty, tribal sovereignty, because that's just all on paper. That doesn't actually exist. Civil rights, human rights, all that stuff. It's on paper. Now we have to hold them to their own paper. Either that or a complete paradigm shift, or go for it both at the same time and see what happens. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just go for it all.
Yeah.
So,
we have another member here that wants to speak, so I'm just going to make one more comment. So, yeah, the International Indigenous Youth Council, we started at Standing Rock for everybody that was listening. We started off just a bunch of kids around a fireplace, and now we are going around the country. We are going around all of North America. We plan on going international, and we're letting people know about what we believe in. And we're showing people that we're doing it in peace and in prayer, and we're showing people that our existence is our resistance. And we just want everybody to know that regardless of what happened this past week, we will still continue to fight. We are not done here. We will always continue to fight for our Mother Earth. We will always continue to fight for our sovereign rights, and we will always fight for our people no matter what. We will never turn our backs to any of the youth, and we want all of the youth of America, all of the youth of the world to know that it's time to rise, it's time to stand up, and it's time to fight back. And the International Indigenous Youth Council, and there's many other youth organizations out there that will support you, that will help you. Just please do not be afraid to reach out to us. Do not be afraid to call us. Do not be afraid to message us. Do not be afraid to get in contact with any one of us, because we've all been through the same things that you've been through. We know how hard it is to grow up. We know what it's like to be a teenager. Get in contact with us. If we can help you, we will help you. We will give you the tools that you need to succeed. And we just want to make sure that everybody continues to pray and continues to just tell people about what's going on. Tell people about what you saw, what you feel, what you saw at Standing Rock. And don't let any of this discourage you, because our people never gave up. Our ancestors taught us to always, always fight and never give up. So our fight is still alive. Our fire still burns strong. You can visit our Facebook page at International Indigenous Youth Council. You can also write the Denver chapter at IIIYCdenver@gmail.com.
Stick around. And we're back with the International Indigenous Youth Council. And we've just finished talking to Tomas, and so we're on to the next person.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristina Elote. I'm from New Mexico. We are starting a chapter. It's going to be the Northern New Mexico chapter. There's a lot of us from New Mexico. So anyway, yeah, I'm over here in Denver. We came to join these guys and to participate in the protests against Wells Fargo. We did that yesterday. It was pretty. A lot of people showed up. It was really good. We basically just went back to Wells Fargo. We marched from the Capitol, went to Wells Fargo. They tried to lock the doors on a lot of our people, but somehow we drained into Wells Fargo, and we just started to educate, I guess. So that's what we've been doing lately. And then last night we went to a free Red Bond event. They had a bunch of artists there and poets, and it was open mic night, and it was really good. It got to teach people who didn't know about Red Fawn's case and what's going on with her. So yeah, and right now we're in Denver.
So tell the listeners what's going on with Red Fawn and who might not know what happened.
Okay. I'm going to pass it over to Jackie because she was there.
Okay.
Longer than.
Hey guys, so I'm Jacquelyn, Córdoba. I'm from New Mexico also. Our sister, Red Fawn, she has been taken as a prisoner of war, basically. She was arrested on the day of the North Raid camp at Standing Rock, and she is undergoing they have some really big, some pretty big sentences against her, federal crimes, charges against her. And there's there's video and witnesses that say that, you know, nothing like that didn't happen. She didn't try and shoot at police. And yet the charges are still going on, and she's been in prison for a really long time, 131 days. And it was really nice because yesterday, like Chris was saying, at the March to Wells Fargo, someone handed out a card for people to sign so that we could send it to her, because it's probably really hard to be, I mean, all of us who have been to Standing Rock, we know how hard it is when you have to leave camp, but to have to leave camp and be locked up and to not be able to talk to anyone, your family, not be able to be in an environment where anyone understands what you're going through, must be really hard. So it was really nice to be able to send some words of love and encouragement to her, because, you know, like there are a lot of us who have put our bodies on the line and up there on the front lines, and you know, standing for the earth and standing for life and for the next seventh generation. And she went for it. You know, she was up there, and when they arrested her, and they've given her so many charges, and yet she's still strong, and she made one of the ultimate sacrifices, you know, to be there in support of Standing Rock and all of life. There's a website, www.freeredfawn.com, where you can go to support Red Fawn Phallus, and also to learn more about what's happening now with her case and where she is. And you can also donate to her legal fund.
Yeah, it was very obvious that she didn't, that she's not guilty of what they're charging her with, shooting at the police. Number one, common sense would tell us if she did, she would not be alive. Number two, there's video footage of it, and there's no evidence of what they're saying happened. Number three, Sheriff Kirchmeier went on a press conference that day saying there was no shots fired from either the police or protesters by anybody that day. So, and then also there were police reports of the officers that arrested her all contradicted each other. One said there was 3 shots, another said 4. So they couldn't keep their story straight on this one. And then they handed their pile of crap over to the feds, who for some reason gladly picked it up. So
yeah, and how many stories have they been able to be straight on? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all of the stories, even the stories of like the permits not being granted, so no drilling is going to happen. There has been construction on the Dakota Access Pipeline since day one. There was, it created a lot of confusion with people who weren't actually at Standing Rock and who didn't know what was going on. They were like, well, like my mom called me when the easement was denied, and she was like, yeah, you can come home. They're not going to do it. And I was like, wait a second. That's not actually what's happening here. And this is centuries old. The government has always told people one thing and completely acted on something different. And when you come from a really tight-knit community, your word means a lot. When you say you're going to do something, or you're going to, be somewhere at a certain time, this is how we build trust within our community, in our communities and with people. And that trust has been broken for generations. There has never been a good foundation of trust between the United States government and Indigenous people, and people in general.
Right.
And so, and so when they say, there there were no shots fired, or, you know, it's like, yeah, there weren't any, and now you're going against what you said, you know. What I'm saying is that it's nothing new, and I think that's why it's so, you know, it's really beautiful what's going on here, especially with the youth council, is that, or with a lot of people, is that we're saying we're going to do something and we're actually doing it. We're all coming together and we're saying, hey, we're going to stand up for Mother Earth. We're going to stand up for the water, for the land. We're going to stand up for each other and for our future generations. And we're doing it. We're doing it. I mean, how many people have you ever heard say, oh, the youth, they're so lazy. They don't do anything. And it's like, well, what now? What can you say now? You know, like, you give us something worthy of fighting for, and we're going to stand up and we're going to do it by the millions.
Yeah, I say that all the time to people, you know, in my age range that are like, oh, kids today. And it's like, you know what? All the young people and then all the kids I know are actually really compassionate, caring people that I'm very proud of. So that's why I have this show, just to let people know that our young people are really impressive, extraordinary people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, it takes a lot to work through a lot of things, because we've heard that story of laziness, and that, you know, young people, you don't know anything, or wait till you're my age and then you'll understand, and blah blah blah. And it's like, we understand wisdom. You know, when people say things to us, when our elders say things to us, and it hits you, and it's wisdom, you know it, you know. And then there are other stories that have been passed down that we've just been taught them, you know, but it doesn't mean that we can't unlearn them. And that's what, you know, the whole thing about decolonization. We are learning to decolonize our minds. We're learning to decolonize our hearts and our spirits and our bodies, and the way that we work and the way that we talk to each other every single day. We're learning how to decolonize ourselves, our whole existence, and really be able to show up as compassionate human beings that we know that we are.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot, and you need a lot of support. And I think that's why right now a lot of youth, and especially like with our youth council, we love hanging out with each other. When we're separated from each other, it's like, oh my gosh, where is my family? Because as a lot of you guys know, if you've been up to Standing Rock, it's really hard to try and integrate back into the world. You know, try and go back, and all of a sudden you have rent to pay. All of a sudden you need a job, and maybe there's not a job that you can get, you know, and how are you going to feed yourself? You know, it's really challenging sometimes to go back into society when you feel like you've just lived in the new world, where everyone is like being able to do what they want to do and be who they are, and love each other. So it's really, really important that if there's a youth group in your community, go support them in any way that you can. Go talk to them, ask them what they need, ask them what their dreams and their goals are, and don't try and impose your own on them. Just try and support them, because our young people are smart, we're intelligent. We are born with everything that the generation before us was born with, and then processed and learned in their lifetime, you know. And I'm 25, and the youth who are younger than me, oh my gosh, they are brilliant. I'm like, holy moly, like I like, how can I support you? Like, what do you need from me? You know, I have my own skills, and how can I help you? So it's always that, you know, reaching your hand out to someone who's younger, someone who's next to you, and being like, hey, how can I help you? Or what do you need? Or how can I stand with you? You know?
Yeah. Well, that's how
we create stronger communities.
Absolutely. And there's something that you're doing as well in your local community to decolonize the local government there.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that,
yes.
Kira. Oh my gosh, this is the first time I've ever said this on like any type of station. Yeah, I'm from Taos, New Mexico, and I'm running for mayor in 2018.
Woo-hoo.
So, yeah, woo! It's pretty cool. And I was actually just talking to our friend Journey, who's part of a youth group in Hawaii. He was talking about tribal government, and he was like, man, how old do you have to be to run for tribal government? And I don't know what the rules are with tribal government, but I was like, hey, I'm running for mayor of my town, And I don't know what your guys' rules are, but like I'm behind you all the way, you know, like whatever you want to do. Sometimes we have to be the first person to like, you know, just kind of like break the mold a little bit. Like, you know, why does every single mayor, every single council person, or every single senator, governor, or president, you know, why do they have to be male? Why do they have to be 55? Why do they have to be, you know, coming from certain backgrounds? And people have been doing this, you know. Obama, first black president, huge, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And now I think we're realizing if we don't act locally, we are not like the structure is already falling down, but we need our local government, we need our local communities to be really strong. And so, yeah, I'm excited to run. I'm also kind of nervous because I've never been a part of this political type party. Because I always teach you, right? You don't want to be a part of the government. The government does horrible things. So why would I even want to be involved? But the thing is that I've realized that there are decisions being made without the people knowing about it. Mm-hmm. And we only get to raise our voice when we're against something. So it makes us look like these people who are so angry. And it's like, no, we're not being informed, you know? And so I'm excited to kind of see what I can help with as far as, you know, being someone in a leadership position who really just wants to act as a megaphone for the people and really bring the community together. Because I've never witnessed anything like that from the places that I've lived. So I'm excited to see how far I can go with that.
And really, as far as local government goes, that's where all your power is in terms of your local environmental things, you know, environmental issues. So mm-hmm. It's your local government that decides if your backyard is going to get fracked, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's
totally.
your local government. So if that's where your power is right now, is your influence on your local government. As far as the national political scene, it's more of a dog and pony show than something that actually gives us real power. It can sometimes, but for the most part, it's on the local level that's going to really make a difference. So I'm happy to see that happening. And you know, we gotta fight this thing on the inside, the outside, both. Whatever we can do to push that paradigm shift.
Oh yeah, totally. And sometimes I get a little overwhelmed with the amount of things that are going on. Like this morning, I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't even look at my Facebook feed anymore because it's all just like things that I really don't want to hear about, but kind of do want to know about, you know? But it's like, I think the really neat thing about this time is that we get to be creative with every single thing that we do. We get to create this world in a way that feels good in our hearts and in a way where we're standing up for something and in a way where we can use, you know, painting, drawing, photography, film, martial arts, dancing. We can use our voice, poetry, making music. You know, we can do so many things to be creative, and that's really where it's going to come from, honestly, because we if we want to get the youth involved, we have to make it fun. We have to make it exciting. We have to make it worth it. And when we get to express ourselves, something that's been kind of, you know, we haven't been able to express ourselves for a really long time. So much oppression has been going on that it's really a time for creativity, and it's a time for self-expression. And we all know that when we start expressing ourselves, we find other people who feel just the same way that we do. And that's how we connect. And so I'm so stoked, like as a filmmaker and as a musician, like I'm just like, all right, let's do this. Like, how can God guide me to create connection in this world so that we don't feel alone? So I'm excited about it all.
I am too. Very much so. How many people do we have left there in Denver?
We have Lauren Howland.
Oh, all right. Great. Get Lauren on here.
All right. I'm going to pass the phone off. Thanks, guys. Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kira. Love you.
You bet. Love you too.
Hi, Kira. This is Lauren.
Hi. Welcome to the bridge.
Awesome. My name's Lauren Allen. I'm from the Hickory Apache Reservation in Dulce, New Mexico. I'm also half Navajo and San Carlos Apache. I went to Standing Rock originally, just me and my brother and one of our other friends. We just jumped in the car and went, and didn't really have any plans, didn't really know what we were getting into, didn't know, what it really was about other than that we needed to fight for the land. So as a Native American, you get that call. As a human of this earth, you should get that call. You should feel it. And we felt it, so we went. And a couple weeks after we got there, we formed this council, helped form it. And when it first started, we're just around the fire, like everybody said. Just around the fire on a couple logs. I didn't even have my own log. I gave Alex my log to sit on. I didn't have my own. And it was just an amazing experience, all the things we did up there, and just to watch the council grow from little infancy, from conception and all the way into this beautiful baby. It's just this council's just my kid, a kid with shared custody, but it's just beautiful what it's gotten to be, just around a campfire in some hunky-dunk town in nowhere, America. And now we're an international organization, and people know about us, and they hear about us, and we inspire people, and we inspire them to lead and stand up, and it's just real nice. It's just real great. And I got my hand broken in Standing Rock by the Morton County Sheriff's Department twice on the same week. Tell them about that. And that was pretty cool. That was awesome. Shout out Morton County.
Ouch. So what happened? What day was it? Which action was it that you?
It was the day October 22nd when we went out to pray for our brothers and sisters that locked down. And it was that was the last time we ever went to the construction site. That was the day they rounded up 150 of us, and
they kettled you. I remember. Yeah.
And then the second time was October 27th, the Sacred Ground raids, the North Camp raids. That was the second time by the same officer, I might add.
Wow. Hey, that's not cool. Wow. So, were you arrested on the 22nd when your arm was broken?
So no, amazingly, when I originally got my arm broken, I was trying to get out a little boy who was stuck in the crowd with us and who happened to just get brought up into all this, and the cops were surrounding us and stuff, and he was freaking out, that little boy. So I broke my arm to get him out to safety, so the cops wouldn't take him into custody, because we all know with Indian kids in custody, it's never the best thing. So I didn't want that to happen to him. Nobody wants that to happen to their kids. So I got him out of there, and I didn't get arrested. Wow.
Okay. And I've actually heard this story before, but from a medic. And so then you went back. You were there in treaty camp, and that same officer saw your arm and remembered who you were, and then brutalized you again.
Well, he saw my hand, and I was in front of an armored vehicle trying to enter the camp, and me and another woman were protecting the camp, standing in front of the armored vehicle, so he couldn't come in. And he just happened to be on the line, and he saw my hand and knew it was hurt. It's not real hard to put together these.
Right. And
that's
so he hit you, or what? How did he hurt at you again? Your arm?
His baton. Those things they hurt.
Yeah. So when you broke it the first time, was he hitting your arm as you were trying to take that kid and save the kid?
Well, yeah, I had grabbed the kid's hand and motioned to the officer that I was speaking to take the kid, and the officer came behind from the officer I was originally talking to. So I wasn't even talking to this other officer. I was talking to his commander or whoever who was in charge of him. And he came out from the back and like was trying to shove me with his baton, but there was a kid there, and so he got a little bit more aggressive than he should have.
Wow. So how's your arm doing now? Is it healing up?
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts all the time. I haven't went into an actual other hospital lately just because we've been so busy with our council, but I don't mind. Like it just hurts all the time. I mean, it's been an ache and stuff, but there's like things like I can't lift as much as I used to or hold on to as much as I used to. Like it's okay though. It was worth the sacrifice.
Yeah, for that little boy. Yeah, the first it was the second night in camp. My son was just about to fall asleep, and there was somebody on the bridge, and so the cops went over their loudspeakers or whatever, and were like, back away, and whatever they say, whatever. And my son woke up and was like, was that the cops? And we were like, it's okay, baby, go back to sleep. And he did. He went right back to sleep. We're not over by the bridge. It's okay. But it's just these weird memories that you have of it's this weirdest juxtaposition of getting these needs fulfilled, like these human needs of being around, living in common together around a fire, praying together, all the stuff that you need as a human that we haven't had for so long. And then also at the same time we're facing this brutal militarized force of, Nazis that, it's a weird juxtaposition. So people wonder, how could you miss that? And it's not just brotherhood and sisterhood, forged in the bonds of war or whatever. It's not just that. It's not just that at all. I think it's a lot. It's even more than that. Wow, Lauren. I did not know it was you that had your arm broken like that.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was an experience, and although it was real hard to get through at the time, and it hurt a lot, and it still does, but it was worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
So when you guys are talking about you need a lot of support, Jackie was just talking about how much support you need to really take this to the next level. The other thing that I pray about and is really about the PTSD that people are dealing with, and it's not just reintegration with this society that we're trying to change, but there's that real injury from the trauma of being brutalized, or even just seeing that highly militarized police force it's really frightening, and it's re-traumatizing because we're also carrying that trauma of the ancestors that were massacred on that same land. It's just over and over. So what are you guys doing in terms of trying to get support to work through that and heal that specifically?
Well, for me specifically, after I had went through getting my arm broken and stuff, and I had real severe PTSD, I just couldn't really function too much. And so that was like the days following, and up until the North Camp raid, which is the second time I got my arm broken, and then after that it was just full-blown PTSD since then. And like me personally, we have a ally with us in our one of our core council members. His mom is actually a psychologist, and she's really been helping me. Her name is Denise, and she's from Eagle Butte, South Dakota. And she's a really, really, really great psychologist. Like, she helped me through so much. Like, she just helped me cope and helped me realize that what I went through, it was traumatic, but it wasn't bad. Like, it was for a good reason and it was for a good cause, and it's because, like, you know, like, I had to do it. It was something I had to do. Like, it wasn't bad, and she helped me realize that, and really helped me get through being at camp still, because after that happened, I stayed at camp. I didn't go anywhere. Like, although it was hard to stand in front of those cops again, especially the officer that broke my arm, because he was still on the force throughout the whole remainder of when I was there up until December. So I would keep seeing him over and over at these different actions we would do after that, like the Turtle Island standoff when we were all in the water and he was there again. And it sucks going through like this, like, because people don't realize what we went through up there. They don't realize that we literally went to war in our own country against our own government, and nobody knows about it.
Right.
And it's kind of just real awful. Like, they're like, well, you can't really compare it to, like, veterans who've been to war overseas. And, like, why not?
Yeah, absolutely you can.
Like, it's literally the same thing. It's just the U.S. government that was militarized and stuff. And they came after us citizens. And it's no difference, you know. We went through the same thing. We went to war. We heard the gunshots. We would hear the firefights in the middle of the night, like the night on the bridge. That went through the whole morning. Up until the morning, like, you could hear the shots and the concussion grenades going off and the water cannons being sprayed, and it just sticks in your mind. Because now none of us can enjoy things now, like fireworks. I can't enjoy fireworks anymore. Fireworks terrify me. Right. You know, they sound like gunshots, like concussion grenades being blown off. And it's just like things like that people don't think about. Like, it sucks, but, you know, the support we're getting and we're looking for is there, and I'm glad it is. And that's why you need to be, like, people need to be real keen about how they treat and what they say to, like, younger generations, because, like, one of the main things we deal with in, like, life and stuff, especially Native Americans, is, like, the suicide and stuff. So people need to be real, like, keen to what they say to, like, younger generations like myself, you know, and help us go through these things, because we're not going to get through it on our own. And we can try and stuff, but there's just some things we just don't know yet, and that's okay, because we're learning still. And how to deal with PTSD is one of those things we don't know how to deal with yet. And so we're learning, but we'll get it down. I mean, it's not going to stop us from going back out there.
Right. Yeah, we're in the middle of a suicide epidemic, so we have to be real careful about the messaging that we're sending to young people. And for me, it's really important to let them know how precious their lives are. And so when you did that for that little boy, you were telling him that your life is precious. That's why I'm getting you out of this harm's way. And you would do it again. So it's these acts of compassion and love. And I know you for you in that moment, you just didn't have a choice. It was an automatic thing. Because that's your character. So, yeah. Lots going on with that. And I wouldn't say that I had PTSD so much from it, because I didn't see the 2 weeks that I was there wasn't any real, it was kind of like a break in action. There was action like right the day I got there and one the day I left, but there pretty much wasn't anything going on for like 10 days. But the constant planes, the lights, the floodlights and all that, just that, there's a lot of stuff that can take me back to that instantly. Where I live in the woods, but it's about 100 miles from D.C., and we have these little planes that fly over, and they make that same sound. And I never really noticed it that much before, but now when they fly over, I'm like instantly taken back to camp, because it's that same sound of those planes constantly flying over. So it's, I don't know what you call that, but maybe it is. I don't know. But it just takes me back.
I understand, though. But, like, you know, that's the, we'll get through it. We'll get it.
Yep. And I'd go back in a second if I could, you know, but we actually can't go back to, there was a window of time for Standing Rock where it was like the height of the movement, or this chapter of the movement, I should say, because Standing Rock isn't a standalone movement. It's one chapter in a very, very long movement of Indigenous resistance. So there was a height of that chapter, or, the arc of its creative spark. And we can't ever go back to that. And we know that, and for the people who are there now cleaning up, it's a really, really hard time, because you're seeing everything that had appeared all disappear. But it's not going away. It's actually going to all the different places around the country and the world that have been, set ablaze in a good way, to stand up to. Yeah. So, we have about 20 minutes left. We didn't hear that much from Chris. Did Chris want to say more?
I mean, yeah, she can totally speak on it more.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to hand it off to her, but thank you for having me on your radio show. I want to do this again.
Yes, please keep in touch, and I loved having you on, Lauren.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Kira, love you.
Love you too.
Hi, it's Kristina.
Hi. So I didn't mean to just talk to you for a few minutes. There was a lot more that I wanted you to speak about for yourself. I've learned that you fought forest fires. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I joined about 6 summers ago, and it's just been a passion. I've been learning a lot. It taught me how to be a leader. I'm learning. I just got my squad boss approved, so I've been working on it, and it taught me a lot how to take care of our mother. It's one of the first things that taught me about environment and what's going on, and how many droughts there are. It really showed California's in a major drought. I go there every summer to fight fires. It's ridiculous, and here they are trying to mess up some more water sources. We're already running out of water.
Right.
How can they keep? It's rough, especially coming from a wildland firefighter. And I just heard that Trump is taking our jobs away.
Oh, really?
The forestry. Yeah.
Cutting jobs, huh?
So he what did he do? He froze the hiring. So I'm not sure if I'll even have a job when I go back home,
So the way it works for you is that, sorry about these sirens.
It's fine.
Is that you're hired on a seasonal basis for firefighting?
Yeah.
Or okay, so it's not year round. So for those who want to push the narrative of go get a job, well, you have one. You do.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
I do.
So go ahead.
Yeah.
How does that work when you are a forest fighter? Forest firefighter.
You know what? I think my friend and I, her name was Tiara Vigil. She's also from Dulce. She got me into it, and it was strange because when we first started going to the forestry and fighting fire, we were the only women there. There's probably I didn't see any women there currently. There's probably one, but what was powering that was when I started putting myself out there to be a wildland firefighter. These younger people started coming. Lauren's one of them. She was a wildland firefighter too, and we spent a whole summer just fighting fires and protecting our reservations. So it really set a precedent for our community. I wanted to get that out for the younger ladies who really enjoy it outdoors and want to stand for something. It really brought a lot of younger people out. I know I can name about at least 5 friends that are already joined, and they're all women.
Wow, that's impressive. That's really great. I was really impressed because I saw I was just looking on your Facebook page and I was like, oh wow, she fights forest fires. That is hard work.
I always love dropping the fire line bomb, you know. People are like, what? You fight fires? I'm like, yeah, totally, dude. It's like my 6th or 7th year I'm going into. I can't even remember
what it was like before, right? Can't remember
right.
what you did before.
And that's why it just blows my mind that, like, hey, California, the whole West Coast, you guys are in a drought, and here comes these companies trying to mess up the heart of America, this water supply. You know, what the heck?
Yeah,
it's insane to me. And that's why I'm glad this goes to where I'm in Dulce, and you know, my job just ended with forestry. Who's Lauren and Alexander, the Howland. They're all trying to get me. They knew that I needed to do something, and they kind of like saved me from myself. You know, because the res could eat at you if you let it. You know, res life is tough sometimes, but, you know, I'm lucky enough to have known these people, these friends, these brothers and sisters, and they swooped me out of it. And here I am representing my community, everyone, you know, Native people. We're protecting your water supply. You know, if you don't care about it, you're going to care about it. What do we live off of? Water.
Yeah.
You want your forests to burn down? Keep draining our water supply. Keep poisoning our people. Go ahead. Cut my job. It's all right. Just know that the flames are coming. Water is going. Everything's gonna die.
And when people are directly affected, that's when they're gonna be like, wait a minute, this was a mistake. Yeah. And people are already realizing what a mistake it is, and the restrictions on dumping into our streams and rivers have been relaxed now. So not that they were even stringent before, but they've been relaxed now. So we've got our work cut out for us pretty hardcore. So we'll certainly never be bored. We'll always have work to do.
Now.
Yeah.
Now we could promote ourselves and like keep Standing Rock set a precedent for people to be awake. # woke.
Woke.
You know.
And dope too. Decolonizing people everywhere.
There you go. That's all we need. Dope. I mean, that sounds wrong. But yeah. Let's get the hashtag going. Let's remember the decolonization of people everywhere. You know?
Yeah, we should not make that go viral.
Everything.
So you start using it. We do. Right. And we're all colonized. Not just Indigenous people, we're all colonized. The history of the world is a history of a psychopathic takeover of Indigenous peoples. And it's just that, you know, so when people focus on white man's ways, it's really, I mean, I understand why people feel that way for sure, because past 500 years, you know, that's the way it's been. But it's really not an issue of race, since race doesn't even exist anyway. It's an issue of pathology. And so the Europeans that came over here and colonized here, they had been colonized for so long that they didn't remember that they were Indigenous. And so they're trying to make Indigenous people here forget too. But we're trying to make everybody remember who we all really are, the people of the earth, and that we're all related, not just human beings, but all life. And so whatever we do to this planet, we're doing to ourselves, and we're here to save ourselves, because Mama Earth, she's going to keep going on. She's a sacred being. There's nothing that we can do to destroy her. Yeah. So this is for us. Yeah. For human beings. And we're part of her. We're not a cancer. We're not fundamentally flawed in any way. Yeah. We're sacred too, because we're part of a sacred being. So that's what I remind people who they get on this whole, well, humans are a cancer, and it's like, no, not really. Maybe 1% that are psychopaths are. We could get rid of them, but the rest of us are pretty cool. And so that's a good thing. And we can also learn, you know, how to identify that 1%. Even when it seems like they're in the group with the people who are cool, they have the same MO, which they cannot help or cover up. And so once you learn that MO, it becomes pretty obvious. And we once did that as Indigenous people. You know, we were able to banish those that needed to not be around for everybody else to be safe. So I'm not against doing that either.
Right.
To keep people safe
Right.
from predators within and without. Yeah. So keep it up, you guys. I'm very, very proud of you. That's why I had you all on the show. Do we want to? We have about 12 minutes left. Do we want to bring Tashina and Topa back in just to wrap things up? And
let's bring them back.
Okay. All right, Steve.
Hey guys,
bring them back in.
Shout out.
Hello.
Hey, Tashina, we're just wrapping the show up, and we just wanted to bring you back in. We had some minor difficulty during the commercial break, the station break or whatever, but we got everybody back on, and everybody's got to have their say who wants to. And so we were just bringing you back in just to, to wrap things up for this show. Chris, we got everybody, right? In Denver?
Right.
Okay. All right, cool. So is there anybody in either spot that wanted to say anything else that they didn't get out?
Dopa has something.
Okay.
Can I say something before?
Again, he likes to, he's our inspiration. Hold on.
All right.
Inspirational speaker. I love all of you. Okay, that's all he had to say. Never mind, I thought he was going to say something more, but.
Yeah, we love you too. I heard somebody in Denver wanted to say something. Is that?
Oh, it's just Chris again. I just want to give a little shout out to my people. It's our it's Hickory Day where I'm from. It's February 11th, 1887 is when we finally got our land to go back home to. So just want to give a shout out to my people in Dulce. You know, keep our traditions up, keep our languages. Try to go out there and make a change in our community. We're suffering. We gotta do something about it. You know, we can't just lay back and let everything run over us. And it starts with you. Young people, you guys gotta get up and actually put yourself out there, or else, you're gonna get swallowed up by our history, the darkness. So where it starts is with you, putting yourself out there, getting yourself out of your house, go into the community and see what you can do. That's my message. And Lauren has something to say.
Okay. Also to everybody in my community back home, Dulce, just keep your heads up. As a community, we're struggling right now with some losses we've experienced, and they're going through just a hard time. And my message to them is just keep your head up, keep praying. We're all praying for you real hard. Our whole council is praying for you as a community, and we see you and we see what you're going through, and we realize the struggles you have, and we're working on it. I'm serious. We're working on coming there, and we're trying to get our Northern New Mexico chapter established to work more with you personally as a community. So don't think we've forgotten about you. Don't think we're just living it up here. We're working real hard, and we want to take it to Dulce and help our community, and I just want to tell you all, we're praying for you. Keep your heads up. We love you guys.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe I'll be 2018 council member, because the age is 27, so I love
you.
2018
council, Dulce, New Mexico.
Yep. Right on. So
people. Let's do this.
So another chapter is in the works. Right now, people who are interested can find 3 different chapters on Facebook. The original one, which is the Standing Rock, the Denver, and the Chicago chapters are on there too. Like Tomas was saying, feel free to message them, support whatever actions you guys are doing. Like you had a bunch of actions in Denver. Denver is hot right now, by the way. Lots going on in Denver. And wherever in your own community, put something together. Shut a bank down. It only takes really 2 to 3 people to shut a bank down. Seriously, that's all it takes.
Oh, we did it.
Yeah, you're doing it. So,
we shut down the Wells Fargo yesterday.
That's what
here in Denver.
So awesome.
I love you guys. I love you guys so much. See, that's the great thing. We're is that we're able to actually spread out now and begin these chapters so that our vision of tomorrow is happening, and we have more visions of tomorrow. We just want to get bigger and brighter, shine like we've never shined before. I mean, we're shining so bright right now that everybody can join. I mean, we want everybody to join, and I love you guys that you guys are working so hard in New Mexico and in Denver. I've seen the rallies live. You guys are rocking. I mean, as long as we just keep communicating with each other. You too, Kira. Everybody who's listening to the show is working in correlation and always having an understanding for one another, where they come from and their points of views. Because that's what actually creates change. It's not going to be a politician. It's not going to be a celebrity. And I've said this several times. It's not going to be anybody. It's going to be the people.
Yeah, where are the celebrities at now?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I just want to say one thing to the public, and that's get involved, get active. Your life will be so much more beautiful and so much more productive if you just get active and know about the real issues going on in this country, and not only this country, but around the whole world.
Yes, get active. It's the best thing you could ever do. I was in a place of sort of complacency, like before Standing Rock, and now I'm in a place of complete action. So and dedication to the resistance. And
even if people don't know how to, if people listening right now don't know how to get involved, a great starting point, you can contact the International Indigenous Youth Council, either the Denver chapter, whichever one's closer, or even the Young Greens or the Green Party. We work in correlation with them too. So as long as they get in contact with them, or even us, we can also start. We're getting ourselves to the point where we can help train people, or giving them the warrior tactics that we've learned, not only from Standing Rock, but for the rallies that we've already participated in the past 6-7 months. So if people don't know what to do or how to go about it, they can just check us out on Facebook, and then hopefully we should be getting a web page. That's like another goal, but and just get in touch with people that you see a rally happening next week. So
are you guys doing any actions coming up this week? Are there any things that you want to spread the word about coming up this week?
There's a unity, and I was going to bring this up. We just found out about it last night, but hopefully we're going to be able to go attend this, only because we were invited. But Dopa and I are going to be going to Tempe, Arizona. I think that's how you say it.
Tempe?
We're going to go check out the United National Indian Youth Conference, the Unity Conference.
It's a Unity Conference for youth that focuses on today's issues, not only the tribal sovereignty or the oppression, but it's just a way to connect with people right now, from what I understand. But those are the things that we're doing. We're not so much of action anymore, but we're more our side. But
also
Tomas and Lauren and them, they do a lot of rallies. I don't know if they have anything for that, but we just we've been focusing on just trying to get the connection.
Okay.
We have one more thing we wanted to say.
Okay, sure.
All right. What we're focusing on right now, and what we want all your listeners and everyone who's listening to this, is to really do your research about banks. Mm-hmm. See what they're invested in. See if it's something that you're standing for. Are they protecting your resources? What are they going to do for you? I mean, divest Apple, divest Keystone, divest. Do your research.
Thank you, you guys. International Indigenous Youth Council. Dope. No Apple. We'll catch you next week. Thanks so much, you guys. I love you.
Love you.
Thanks. Love you guys.
Love you guys.